Welcome back to the Malaysia Money Matters Show. It's January 15th, 2025, and we've got a lot to cover today, from land sales and lawsuits to new digital banks. Ready to dive into some Malaysian company news.
Absolutely. Let's get started.
First up, we've got Atlan Holdings BHD making a splash. They just announced an 8-cent per share dividend payout. That's double what they paid out this time last year.
Wow.
Yeah. It looks like they sold some land to the government for a cool RM 69.6 million. But it also meant closing their duty-free business in Bukit Kayu Hitam.
That's interesting. It seems like a win for shareholders on the surface. But losing that duty-free business could really hurt them long term. Makes you wonder, is this the start of a bigger change in their strategy?
Yeah, it does. Like maybe they're moving away from retail altogether.
Possibly. It'll be interesting to see what they do next.
Yeah, for sure. Now, on a different note, Carzo Holdings BHD is facing some headwinds, lawsuits from suppliers in Malaysia and in China. Plus, their auditor isn't too happy with them.
Oh, wow. Unpaid debts are never a good sign. This really shows how important it is to do your research before investing. Like, were there any red flags in their financials?
Yeah, good point. Due diligence is key. Now, speaking of big moves, Gamuda just won the main contract for the Penang Light Rail Transit project. We're talking over RM 8 billion.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, it is. And analysts think they're going to win the other two contracts as well, which would put their order book at around RM 45 billion.
Wow. Gamuda is a major player in Malaysian construction, and this just proves it. This project is definitely one to watch.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Quan Food, they were trying to break into the IT world, but their joint venture deal fell through.
That's too bad. Breaking into a new industry is tough. It's really competitive. Maybe their plan wasn't strong enough.
Yeah, maybe. Speaking of joint ventures, Data Edge also scrapped their plans to work on AI and blockchain solutions with iStream 360's.
Interesting. It's definitely a volatile market, but the demand for AI and blockchain is only going to increase. I bet we'll see Theta Edge try again.
Yeah. Okay, next up, we've got Ma Sing Group. Their stock has been struggling lately. But they say their data center projects won't be affected by those new U.S. restrictions on AI chips.
I see. I think their confidence comes from their partnerships and their focus on compliance. They're really trying to be a leader in the data center market.
Makes sense. Now, for some ownership changes, the O family just transferred their majority stake in AYS Ventures to a foundation.
Oh, wow. That's a big change. They don't have to make a takeover offer for the rest of the shares. But it does make you wonder what this means for the company. Will this foundation have a different vision?
Right. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Now, for some exciting news in fintech, YTL Power International and CLTD just got approval for their digital bank, Right Bank.
That's great news.
Yeah, they're saying they're going to offer AI-powered personalized banking and super fast fund transfers.
Wow, they're really pushing the boundaries of digital banking.
I know, right? Like imagine getting financial advice from AI
Yeah.
and being able to send money instantly.
It'll be really interesting to see how it works out. This could change everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, last but not least, Yinson Holdings just got a massive investment, US $1 billion from a consortium led by Abu Dhabi's sovereign wealth fund.
Wow. That's a huge vote of confidence.
Yeah.
This will help them expand in the FPSO market.
What's that again?
Oh, right. Those are those giant ships that extract and process oil offshore.
All right.
And the best part is, some of that money will go back to shareholders through buybacks and dividends.
Nice. So it's a win-win.
Exactly.
Well, that was a lot of company news. It seems like there's a lot of opportunity out there, but also some challenges.
Definitely. It's a dynamic market. You have to be able to adapt. Okay, so let's move on from Malaysian companies and look at some international and political news, starting with the U.S.
You mean those new regulations on Chinese vehicles?
Exactly. The Biden administration basically banned almost all Chinese cars and trucks from the U.S. market.
Wow. That's a big escalation in the trade war.
It is.
So, what's the reason for this?
Well, they say it's about national security. They're worried about data breaches and even espionage.
Espionage, really?
Yeah, it sounds dramatic, but they're worried about those connected vehicles and the potential for data leaks and surveillance. It's all part of trying to limit China's influence.
I see. So what does this mean for Chinese automakers?
It's a big problem for them, like BYD, which makes electric buses in California. They might have to scale back their operations. It also raises questions about global trade and whether this could trigger a trade war.
Especially with Trump coming back.
Exactly. He's been very clear about his stance on China. These regulations could be just the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Trump, he's giving a virtual address at the World Economic Forum in Davos next week.
Interesting. It'll be interesting to hear what he has to say, especially after his protectionist campaign rhetoric.
For sure. The whole world will be watching.
Okay.
Well, let's move on to some better news. U.S. wholesale prices went down more than expected in December.
That's good. It might mean that inflation is finally easing, but it doesn't mean the Fed will cut interest rates anytime soon. They'll probably keep them high for a while, just to be sure.
So higher interest rates in the U.S. for now. How will that affect other markets?
Well, it could make the U.S. dollar stronger, which would hurt emerging market currencies like the ringgit. That would make imports more expensive and potentially slow down economic growth.
I see. Now for something a little different, the European Central Bank joined Bluesky.
Bluesky.
Yeah, it's that new social media platform. That's supposed to be an alternative to X.
Oh, right. I've heard of it.
Yeah. Some people think it's a message about Elon Musk,
Mm.
like a sign that they don't agree with his politics.
Yeah. Especially after he supported that far-right German party and
Right.
the ECB under Lagarde. They've been promoting things like gender equality and climate action, which doesn't really fit with Musk's views.
So maybe they're looking for a platform that aligns with their values.
Maybe. It shows how important social media is for institutions now, and how carefully they have to choose their platforms.
It's fascinating. These digital platforms are so intertwined with everything these days.
Absolutely. It's a complex and ever-changing landscape.
Yeah, it really makes you think about how much power these platforms have.
It really does. I mean, every little thing you do online can be analyzed and interpreted in so many ways.
It's true. Okay, so we've covered a lot today. Malaysian companies,
Hmm.
global trade wars, even social media. What were some of the key takeaways for you?
Well, I think one of the most important things is the Malaysian market is constantly changing. We saw companies taking advantage of opportunities, overcoming challenges, and adapting to stay competitive. It's a really exciting market.
For sure. And it's not just about Malaysia, it's connected to the whole world.
Right. What happens in the US or China or Europe affects Malaysia too.
Yeah. Like those new U.S. regulations on Chinese vehicles.
Exactly. So it's important to stay informed about global trends.
Absolutely. And we can't forget about technology, like the rise of digital banking.
Yeah.
Red Bank is a great example.
It is.
They're really pushing the boundaries.
They are.
It's like a glimpse into the future of finance.
It is.
So basically, it's a time of great change
Yeah.
and opportunity.
Yeah,
And it's important to stay curious and informed.
definitely.
All right, so that's it for today's deep dive into the Malaysian Money Matters. We hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe to the Malaysian Money Matters podcast for more analysis and discussions. Until next time. Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you would like a deeper dive into all the investment opportunities from today's news, subscribe to my newsletter at moneymatters.substack.com. I will be sharing a deeper analysis of the key investment opportunities from today's news, including what makes these opportunities stand out and how they fit into the broader market trends. By subscribing to the Malaysia Money Matters newsletter, you will also get exclusive insights on my watch list and portfolio and fundamental reports on Malaysian listed companies.